Alright, what's good everyone? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be giving you tips on gaming on your Samsung Z Fold device. And specifically, I'm using the Z Fold 7. So I'm going to open up a game called Wild Rift. This is a mobile game. And something that's very important in this game is your field of view and also the aspect ratio of your screen. Let me get into the game and I'll show you what I mean. Alright, so the aspect ratio of a foldable phone is very weird. As you can see, it's like almost a square. So games, they don't really work that well with this kind of aspect ratio. So like, it looks really nice on the screen for sure, graphics wise and stuff like that. It feels very smooth, especially with the new chip in this phone. It's going to be fast, but the aspect ratio hinders the game a lot because you don't see a lot of the field of view. There's so much stuff missing on the screen. Like this is an example of, a regular phone. Look at how much you see on the sides of the character. But on the big screen of the Z Fold 7, you miss out on so much information. So in a game like this, you need to be aware of your surroundings. And unfortunately, people can just jump you and attack you from any direction without you really noticing because you can't see as well. So there are things you can do, like you can move the camera around. There's a setting that you can change where it allows you to move the camera and stick it, but it's still going to be slower reaction than just having a better field of view. That's basically it. Like there's not really too much in terms of like maximizing your performance on this kind of device. It is very thin, so performance is going to throttle at some point. You can maximize the aspect ratio and how the games look on this phone. So the first thing is obviously you can play games like this on the outside screen, especially with the bigger screen this year. It's going to be more like a normal phone and you get a lot of the missing content back on the screen because of the normal-ish aspect ratio. You might even get a little bit more because of how long it is. So that is nice. And it's not bad to hold because it's almost like a normal phone. But if you want to play on the inside screen, use the bigger screen to your advantage, then you can actually do this. Open up a split screen session and then bring this to the bottom, and now boom, you have something like this. This is kind of like the outside screen, but you can actually make it a little bit bigger. So you can have a screen that still shows you a lot of information, but is bigger than a normal smartphone screen. So this is actually a nice compromise. And then you can have like YouTube at the top or a messenger app or something like that. And it's just a really good experience for this game. So I recommend this kind of setup for a game like Wild Rift, and you can actually save this as an app here so that you can open it from your home screen instantly in this mode without having to set up a split screen session like that. And then there's also different orientations. So one of my favorite ways to play is actually a 50-50 split like this with YouTube at the top and then basically a normal phone screen at the bottom, and I have a really big video at the top because of the way that it's split. But this is like peak content consumption in my opinion, like playing a game and a full screen big video at the top. This is exactly how I recommend playing most games. If you want a normal experience with a better aspect ratio and take advantage of the full screen, do something like this. But you can also go into settings, go to display, and then go to aspect ratio. So here you can customize the aspect ratio of any app on the phone. You can make it full screen, 4:3, or 16:9. I think 16:9 basically makes it the most playable on this phone and gives you like a decently sized screen. Like it's bigger than a normal smartphone by a little bit. And now the game is more playable. The reason why I don't do this though is because like you're literally wasting so much of the screen. You might as well just be in a split screen session anyways. I mean, this is a good compromise if you don't want to do that and drain a little bit of battery. Having another app open, you can just be focused on the game like this. And the ergonomics are not terrible. If you put it in the middle or at the bottom, it's actually not bad at all. So that's another thing you can do. But I recommend doing a split screen session because it just works the best with all games and you maximize your screen. But yeah, if you are playing games like emulation and stuff like that, where the aspect ratio is kind of square anyways, like GameCube games for example, then you're fine with using the full screen because it's going to fill up most of the screen anyways, and it's going to look really nice. But I'm talking about games that don't really fill up the screen well. Like for example, a game like Pokemon Unite, they made it so that it's like a smaller square, so you can kind of see everything on the screen. This is kind of better than how it was before this. Before it would fill up the whole screen, but then things would be cut off and stuff like that. It's just not a good experience. So at least this is a little bit of a better compromise. Still, even with Pokemon Unite, I prefer to play in split screen. But unfortunately with this app, if you do anything to manipulate the size of the screen, the game is just broken. It will never go back to a proper aspect ratio again. It's always going to be scrunched and look bad no matter what I do. So to mitigate this, you close the game, swipe up, go to the task switcher, close Pokemon Unite completely. And now what you're going to do is open up YouTube or something like that, start a split screen session, find Pokemon Unite and open it from here. You want to start in the mode that you're going to play the game in so that it just opens up in the aspect ratio. If you change the aspect ratio at all by a little bit, it's just going to be glitched until you restart the game. So some games you might need to do that. A game like Pokemon Unite, that's just how it works. You cannot change the aspect ratio at all. If you do, you got to restart it. So for a game like this, I just saved the app here to my home screen. And now instead of opening one by one, I just tap the app here and it will open up perfectly fine with the aspect ratio that I want. And it's just gonna run proper. So now another thing, the speakers on the Z Fold devices are at the bottom usually on both sides. So what you can do is just rotate your phone, and it might be a little bit uncomfortable, but the camera bump on this phone is not that huge compared to, you know, some of the Chinese phones out there. Like, look at this camera bump. It's not that bad, and you can play like this, and then now your speakers are at the top of the device, and it's just a little bit better. So I mean, that's basically gaming on the Z Fold 7 and my tips for playing games on this. Performance stuff, there's not really much you can do. There is the Samsung Game Booster, and I don't really think it does much. You can set its performance mode, set it to 120 hertz, but it's going to be like that anyways, like similar performance. I don't think it really makes a difference. You could also put a fan. If you get MagSafe on your phone, you can put a fan on the back and cool it down a little bit, but other than that, the performance is going to be what it is. It's going to be decent for a folding phone, but not that amazing. So the main things you want to focus on when it comes to gaming on this device is the aspect ratio and how it looks visually. And also connecting to an external screen in Samsung DeX is nice too, so I recommend playing like that as well. But that's basically it for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and until the next video, we're out. Peace.